Howdy everyone, welcome back to another video from Huckleberry Soaps. I'm David Ryan, head soap maker, and I'm back in San Angelo, and that means more melt and pour projects. I actually got commissioned to do another version of that Honeysuckle Stars soap that I did back in July, and so I thought, since I really wasn't entirely happy with how it came out myself, even though my friend was, I wanted to show myself redoing it to see if I can show you and get some, get some kind of documentation that I've actually improved with my melt and pour. I haven't actually worked with melt and pour embeds like I used back then, but I think I have a better feel for it now than I did at that point. So I've already made one batch of the star columns already, and so the first step will be making the second one. So right now, before I go to work, I'm gonna be going and just melting some plain just plain white Brambleberry melt and pour. There's no aloe or anything in this one, and it's in this shape because I melted more than I needed to, and I have these pumpkin molds that I got from HEB, and I definitely want to do something with them next year because they look really cool. Maybe a pumpkin spice coffee latte soap or something. I don't know, but that's something I have to plan for. I got these like a month before Halloween, so I didn't really have that much planning going. Plus, I was still focused. When I'm at home, I'm focusing on actual soap. I'm focusing more on the cold process rather than melt and pour. Although both are fun. So let's get to that soapy good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, aside from moving these out of the way, is pull this out of the mold, and I want to be very careful because this does bend these do bend pretty easily, so I want to make sure I also poured soap all over it last night because it fills up really quickly and then it kind of pours over, and I admittedly kind of burned my hand a little bit, but not too much. So we got a column of stars here. I will kind of pull off the little extra strip, and I can just put that in the, well, see, it's already kind of bent, but not too bad. It's not going to ruin the soap once I get it in there. So the next part of the process is cutting these back up into chunks so that they melt evenly. I'm going to go ahead and cut all three of these because, again, I'm not entirely sure how much, and as long as you don't overheat these, it's not a problem. And I did actually watch some more melt and pour videos as far as the heat thing, and Brambleberry does recommend that you do not heat theirs more over 160 because it could burn, boil or burn, which can cause it to be more brittle. I've done that and I haven't noticed a difference, but I also haven't let it boil very much. So I'm going to pop this in the microwave in a few 30-second bursts, and then we will pour it into our mold. This is it after one 30-second round, so I'll probably go for another 45 seconds. I'll see after another 30 first. It's all melted, and my thermometer says that it is 190 degrees. It was not boiling when I took it out, so I have a feeling that my thermometer is not actually very accurate. It's not steaming either, so it is fully melted though, so that is Or maybe I'm supposed to hold it. I should look up to see how far I'm actually supposed to hold it away from whatever I'm doing to make sure I'm getting an accurate reading. But I'm going to chalk this up to this being accurate or inaccurate, or me misusing it, and not them, misleading everyone on their melted pour, because I genuinely don't think they're doing that. But or they might put a low number just to make sure people don't do it. But because that's also a responsible thing to do. So now we're gonna prepare the mold. So this just kind of clamshells together like this, and you want to make sure that each part of it gets sealed. Otherwise, the melt and pour soap could leak out. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in this, and I'm going to lean it up against the wall. And now just going to carefully pour this in without bumping my camera. There's a few lumps, but that's not a big deal because it's all going to sit up anyway. Now I'm going to hold this for a second because last night I filled it to the very top, and after about a minute it lost some volume. I don't know if that's just because it seized up or what, but it did lose some volume. So, well, actually, nah, it's I'm not going to wait for that because it's long enough anyway, and I'll be cutting it. So I'm going to put this over here, and then I'm going to pour the rest of this in here so it doesn't just sit up in my measuring bowl. And then I will let this sit until it will sit up in about 2 hours, but I'm going to wait till after I'm done working because I will not have time to fully dedicate the proper care to making the full loaf of soap before I go to work. So I will see you in about 10 hours, but for you it will be like 2 seconds. And it is time to continue with the project. So first things first, I'm going to unmold my second stars, and if you can see, it's contracted into the tube about probably a half an inch. And I don't know why. It didn't leak or anything. So I guess it just kind of shrinks a little bit. It shouldn't be that big of a deal because the first one won't fit in the mold, so I'll have to trim that one, and so I'll probably have to trim this one as well. It came out pretty good. Got some frizzy parts. Gonna take those and put them in a bowl so I can reuse them while I'm melting other things. So see what we have here. First of all, I'll just cut this down, that one down to there, and see if that is enough for it to fit. It's not. So one fits, and that one fits. And now on to measuring everything. Since this is going to be exactly the same as the last batch of the Honeysuckle Stars, this is going to be, looking at my laptop way over here because that's where the plug is, 1,360 grams of soap. So these are about 142. Time to cut all this up into smaller pieces, because of course we're not going to cut these. These are fine just the way they are. And I will be coloring this with Key West Blue by Mad Micas. And the fragrance, oh, that's perfect. Exactly what I need. So I got 2 even bowls of melt and pour, although that one, this stuff is melting on me. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to melt in the microwave. Last time when I made this, I used, let's make sure that's on grams, good. I used a Key West Blue, and I used about, I originally made the recipe with 1 teaspoon, but that wasn't enough to make it as blue as I wanted. 1 teaspoon is about 4.86 grams, and so I'm going to up that. I think I ended up putting about 2 teaspoons in, so this has really settled because I haven't used it, so. I have the slightest sneaking suspicion that the measurement that I've been using to calculate how much a teaspoon of mica weighs is not actually accurate. So I'm going to have to reassess that in the future. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Or my scale's not working properly, because now adding that made it go to 0.9 grams when it was 2 point something grams. So I don't think I can really use the scale accurately. And then I'm going to mix that with some, this time I'm going to be mixing it with some rubbing alcohol to disperse it. Some of you might be asking, why are you not using actual measuring spoons? And that is because I did not pack them. It is that simple. And I did not account for the little dip on the edge of this, so I need to find a better container for this in the future. But I have dispersed my mica, and I used 99% rubbing alcohol for that one because I don't want to add water to
the melt and pour because I don't want it to get extra soft or moist or get glycerin dew. And so the next thing that I need to do is measure out the fragrance oil, and that will be 30 grams. And hopefully this will actually work for me this time. 3.5, I'm not gonna worry about half of it. So, first things first, going to go ahead and melt the first batch. This is the melt and pour after about a minute in the microwave, so I'm gonna give it a quick stir because this is actually a lot more melt and pour than I used earlier. And we're going to give it some more time. Okay, now I've got everything all blended and all clean. It is about 165 degrees, so I'm going to begin by adding color. This is actually, this is blending a whole lot better than when I just added the mica on its own. But it's also a whole lot lighter. I have a feeling that if I'm going to get the color that I'm wanting, I'm probably actually going to be using most of this. There we go. That's basically the color I had before. Yeah, the problem with doing this separately is now I have to color match both batches. Then I'm going to pour about half of the fragrance oil into this. Give it another good stir and to begin the process. So, first thing I'm going to do is pour some, but not all, of the first batch in here. I'm going to pour, I think that's good, roughly a third. Then I'm going to get rid of the bubbles. Then going to wait for that to set up. A little bit before I put my first column embed in. And while that's going, I'm going to begin the melting process of my other thing. probably going to have to reheat the other batch too. Definitely got to keep it moving. Problem I had last time is, and also with my other melt and pour batches, was I tend to get too impatient. I know it's not ready for it yet. I'm putting the star face down so that no soap, so that when I pour, it will get into the crevasse, get into the, between the two bottom legs, essentially. So now the temperature is about around the 100 range, so I'm going to try putting my first thing of stars in and see if it is not quite strong enough to hold it. So we're going to let it sit a bit longer. Yeah, that film on top disguised the temperature a little bit. It is actually closer to 110. So we're gonna let this sit a little bit longer and pop. Actually, while that is setting up, this is the perfect time to get this going. I think actually now is the time to pull this back into the spotlight and see how it reacts to the star. Still not strong enough. Okay, that's no problem. We still have stuff to do, like fine. I think it actually darkens up a little bit as it sits, and this is glopping up, so I do need to give it another quick zap in the microwave. So we're going to take another attempt at this. Oh, good. Now it is sitting there in the correct position that I wanted it to be. Hooray! It's a little bit tilted, but that's not horrible. So I'm going to continue cooling off this other, because right now if I pour it on there, it is going to melt that bottom layer because it is currently 140 degrees. So I'm going to let this cool off. So I assisted in the cooling down of the second part of this batch by pouring it into a different container. They went from 120. Okay, initially it said it went down to 100, but it is actually roughly 114. So I'm going to pretend I didn't do that. Actually, it's probably actually okay enough to pour. So we're going to pour it first straight over, see, right beside the star, over the star. make sure it's totally over it. And there we go, that's the first layer. We're going to get rid of the bubbles. And give that some time to sit up. So I realized I do actually want there to be a little bit more in between the two stars, because the way I didn't get them placed exactly how I wanted them last time. So this time I'm going to add just a little bit more to this layer. Here. And then we're going to let that set up. So, I think it has set up enough that I can put the final star rod in. I'm going to use both hands. Look at that. Exactly what I wanted. And let's just let it I'm going to give it a spray of rubbing alcohol. It's runny enough that it will fill in the gaps. We'll do this side first. So wait. Other than that, make sure it covers up the top, and then there we go. There is my second go at the Honeysuckle Stars soap. And I think I managed to get the stars exactly where I wanted them to be. I wanted them to be more diagonal, and they kind of were like me instead of, let's see. Yeah, I wanted them, so instead of, last time they were kind of like that, but I kind of wanted them to be more like that, kind of like a 2 on a die. And hopefully I was able to do that this time. I'm looking forward to cutting this tomorrow. It smells very good, and I think I got the colors matched. I really, really hope I did. I'm gonna be kind of disappointed if they're different, but maybe, just maybe, it will give a cool gradient ombre effect. That would be really cool. And I will wait until tomorrow, and you will wait just a few seconds. And now, time to cut. So this has been sitting for about, I think I finished like at 1:30 in the morning, and it's like 11:30 now, so it's all set up. So just gotta take it, put that over there, flip it over, undo the seal, flip it over again, and push. Actually, more like unwrap because this is not like... And voila. So, I think a little bit of the soap got overcooked because there's some cloudy white stuff on the top. But I don't think that's going to be that big of a problem. And then the first thing I'm going to do is cut off a little bit of the end so that each bar has a star that is fully visible all the way through. Oh, that is... I'm not going to show you quite yet. Not yet. Yeah. The scent is very good, though. No, I actually have a full-on ruler because I forgot to bring mine with me. Process. So, make sure I push straight down. Look. The stars are perfectly aligned. This is exactly what I wanted. Although, you can tell that there's layers. So, that's a little bit disconcerting, but I got the stars placed exactly where I wanted them to be. And that's exciting. So, I am, at least in some ways, improving with my melt and pour. That one had a little bit of a bubble around it, but that is probably because of the, that's where the film set up. So, look, if I can get on there. This is my second attempt at the Honeysuckle Stars Melt and Pour soap. It smells really good. And although it has some imperfections that I didn't expect, I think I overcompensated on my weighting a few times when on these layers. But otherwise, I think I did a better job than the first time. Another soap project by Huckleberry Soaps. I had fun making this one again, and I hope to get a chance to make it again so I can fix the problem, fix the mistakes I made in it again. I'm going to see if this is, of course, good enough to send off, as this was a paid commission, and I really appreciate the business of my friend. And I think I actually got the color pretty accurate to the original, and the original might have been a little bit darker, but I like how it turned out. I'm kind of disconcerted about those layers, but overall I think this is an improvement as far as design over the last one. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much to my friend who commissioned me for this project. If you would like to see more from me, head on over to my Instagram and TikTok and at Huckleberry Soaps. Also, please give me a like and subscribe before you leave today so you can catch my other videos. And I'll be shipping off some soaps soon, so pay attention, especially to my TikTok
where I'll do little videos of me doing all that process. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time.